When I see this series, all I get is anger, and you guys have to read it. You actually can't put this on this list. You actually can't. I'm glad this series is done. I'm glad I finished it, but I'm not glad I read this book. And yeah, Sam Penny, the man that you are. Why is only God tier ones rereads? Hello, my sweet, sweet besties, and welcome back. This is such an exciting video because this is one of my favorites. We are going to be tier ranking all of the books that I have read so far this year. So it's around 43-ish, I think. So let's just hop right in. You guys know the drill already. But look at my cute computer case. If you're wondering, she is from BURGA, and I do also have a link, so if you want to support me and BURGA, you can click the link and get yourself a cute case. Let's hop into what the tiers are. Starting at the bottom, we have absolutely no, because just absolutely no, you know? Books I DNF'd and or strongly disliked. Then we have LOL, just no. Books I just didn't vibe with. They just weren't for me and I just didn't like. Then we have I was waiting for you to be better. This is kind of like the 3-star-ish range where the books were fine, they were okay, but they just weren't anything I really think of, and there was just flaws that I could see and things that I definitely think should have been done different. Decent 3-4 star read, whatever it may be. Good books. I mean, they're just decent, but they're not like all-time favorites. And then stunning, beautiful. Again, stunning, beautiful. This could be like 4 to 5 star-ish range. And then God tier is 5 and 6 star reads that I think about constantly and that I love with my whole heart. So I think they kind of got uploaded in here in reverse order, so I might start with the bottom and go to the, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to move them. So I do remember the very first book I read this year was Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. This was a reread because this is one of my favorite books of all time. So it's in God tier. I just love this story because I love Justin and Emma so much, and their romance is just one of my favorites of all time. I can't say enough good things about this book. Abby Jimenez's writing, she just knows how to make you cry but also laugh. That is what I love. She just is my perfect romance author, and you will see that again in this rating. And then His and Hers, I low-key don't even remember this book at all. I'm gonna put this in I was waiting for you to be better because I don't remember any like strong negative feelings about this, but I just don't remember like anything about this book. I just feel like it wasn't very memorable, and I definitely was excited to go into this because Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney is my favorite thriller of all time, and I think this is the only other one I've read by her. So I was very excited, but it just didn't hit for me, I guess, and I don't know, I think it got kind of weird. And then yeah, like I said, these are out of order and it's kind of pissing me off, but I think this was like way, I'm just gonna move these to like where I think. And then I also read Winter, which is the last book in the Cinder series, which a lot of us read way back when, which I only read the first one back then, but I continued the series kind of towards the end of 2024 and I finished this one this year in like January. I love the series so much. This book was such a good conclusion, and I really like this series how it's set up because the first book, Cinder, you're getting Cinder's perspective, and then in the second book you're getting introduced to a new character, and same in the third book, and then this book you're getting everybody's story, and the found family just gets so good, and I just love how this story wrapped up. Really enjoying this one, and it's like a 500-page book, so it's like a good length for the end of the series. What if I just when I see this series, all I get is anger. All I feel is anger because why are we romanticizing bullying? You know what I mean? And this is the first book in like a 27 book series. Okay, it's not that, but it wasn't for me. I didn't like a single thing about this book. Also, so it follows two, don't ask me their names, two girls, and they are twins. First chapter, they're like in the normal world or something, then they go to Zodiac Academy, and it's like for immortal people. I don't know, it's for other people, whatever. I did not know which twin was what the entire book, which like I could have went back and looked, but like did I care enough? No. So yeah, I just did not care. This book was actually ridiculous, and why do the girls like these guys? It's honestly disgusting the things they did to them, and they were like, wait, like no, absolutely not. I will not be continuing this series. I actually won't say that. I've just seen so many comments about people saying it gets better after book like 6. I'm not gonna suffer through books 1 through 5 for it to get good. So that's that one. When the Moon Hatched, this was my first ever book club book with my friends, so it holds a special place. Also, I just really enjoyed it. I definitely think in the first 25-ish% it was really hard to get into, but after that I was absolutely hooked, and I actually can't wait for the second one to come out. I might need to reread though or something, but yeah, I loved it. I love this type of fantasy, and I love fantasy books with dragons. So I feel like it was definitely more like higher fantasy. Like, it was kind of confusing at some points, but I freaking loved it. This I just read because I've had it for a while, and I read the first one and wanted to read it. It's just a little Christmas, like, dog-centered story. It was fine. It was fun. I actually really enjoyed this, but it just isn't something I think about frequently. I just love dogs. I guess we'll talk about all of these. I'm gonna put... So, in preparation for Onyx Storm, I reread Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, then read Onyx Storm, which Fourth Wing is such a god tier book. I love that book with my whole heart. It is just incredible, and it is just my perfect type of fantasy book. Iron Flame I did really enjoy more the second time, but still it didn't live up to the first for me, so that is why it's there. And then Onyx Storm is down here because this book was a drag, and I mean a drag, and that is coming from someone who read Iron Flame in one day. I still regret that decision, but Onyx Storm I feel like took me forever, and it was so mundane, I felt like, and also the ending kind of actually really pissed me off. Like, it felt like we got this whole 600-800 page book for literally nothing. So I was very disappointed in that, and I'm really glad that Rebecca Yarros is taking a couple years to write the next one, because that was definitely a rushed book, I guess. Okay, where's the second one? I'm just gonna do these both. I'm gonna put these in good, but like, they're borderline stunning beautiful. This is the perfect duology, like the perfect fantasy duology. I ate this up, low-key. The more I think about it, the higher it gets rated. I loved the main characters. I loved the plot twist, kind of, and just where the plot went. It was definitely predictable, but I feel like it was executed so well, and like, I could have never put like all the pieces together, but I was sus of certain things that were going on. But yeah, I love the series. The romance is... That's all I have to say about that. It's insane. I just love this series so much, and it is such an easy to understand world, so highly recommend for that reason alone. Okay, this book low-key kind of felt like a fever dream, honestly. I got this, I don't even know. I thought this sounded really good because it's like, so this is about our main girl. Oh my god, I'm getting it confused with that freaking... What's that book? Okay, so last year I read... What is it? I don't know what the hell it's called, but I'll put it here. And I really loved that thriller, and this is kind of like that same vibe, like in a car, snowstorm, snowed in vibe. So I picked this up. It is about our main girl we're following. She is traveling home on Christmas, I think, and their plane gets like canceled, and she like really wants to make it home. This group of people who was on the plane with her, they are renting a car to drive back in because they all like live around the same area, whatever. So she agrees to go with them, and this whole time someone is like sabotaging the trip, whatever. And also it's like super blizzardy, like terrible weather, like get off the roads. Yeah, I don't know, I thought the twist was like fine. It wasn't anything crazy, but it was an entertaining story. It just kind of felt like a little repetitive. I think it's good here. There were parts of it I liked, parts of it I didn't. Next, okay, these thrillers are so similar, it is tripping me up. This is also about a winter car crash, but I think this one was a little better. I'm gonna put it in decent, but like, it's like a 4-star, 3.5. So this is again about a winter car crash, and our main girl, she is pregnant, and she's like trying to get to her brother's house, I think it was, somewhere, and her car breaks down, she crashes, and then she ends up at this like cabin, whatever, and like she can't leave because it's so snowy, whatever. And like, she's pregnant, and I feel like at the start of this book it kind of took me a while to get into because it was like heavy on her pregnancy, and I was just like, we're good, you know what, we're good. But yeah, I did enjoy the twist. It was really kind of crazy, but I don't know, I just feel like at some points it was a little slower for me, but I did really enjoy it. Definitely in the winter time these two would be interesting reads, but if you got driving in the snow anxiety like me, maybe wait till it's like not snowy. Heartland, I'm gonna put this in no, just no. I had to kind of like skim most of this book because it got really boring, and I was just like confused, and then it was weird. I don't know. I was really excited about it though, because then I had just finished Winter, and this is another Marissa Meyer book, and yeah, I did end up skimming most of it because it just got really boring. And this book felt like it was like 700 pages long, but it was like not. Oh my god. This is gonna go in good because I feel like I haven't thought about it as much as I felt like I would, but I love this book so much. The drama. If you like Magnolia Parks and like kind of Daisy Jones, definitely, because I felt like it really gave those vibes because it follows two famous figure skaters and they're like dating, their friends, their scandals, their figure skating careers, and just like dealing with fame, and I loved it. There were like twists too, and I was like jaw dropped. This book was so bingeable and just so good, and it so deserves all the hype it's getting. Big Bar, I really don't remember how I felt about this book. I think this book was fine. I really don't remember much. I feel like there was something I didn't really love about it, but I cannot remember it. But I like Sarah Adams' writings and I like this town. Yeah, I think it was good. I don't know. I'm gonna put this in done girl. Where's the second one? I'm gonna put the first one in good because I feel like this really got me hooked on the series, and this was just the perfect book at the perfect time for me. It was so much fun, and I love a small town cowboy romance, of course. The second one I feel like I wasn't as invested to, but I did really like our main girl in it, but I don't know, I just wasn't as obsessed as I was with the first one. This was a reread. I listened to this one. I think I was slumping or something. That's the same with Just for the Summer. Why is only God tier ones rereads? It's fine. Obviously, this is one of my favorite books of all time. I love this book. I love these characters. Period. Moving on. I will not go on. I don't know why I didn't like this. I just found it so boring, and similar to other fantasy books I've read. There were some in particular, but like also this is the blueprint. Like this is the OG, so I should have read this first, you know what I mean? But yeah, I just didn't really care at all. I found it really boring, honestly, and it definitely hurts me to say. Maybe if I read it physically, because I think I just listened to it, but yeah, I definitely wish I would have read this when I was younger because I would have ate it up. The last letter. If there's one thing about Rebecca Yarros, is that she can write any genre, and this was no exception. And I freaking love a military romance, apparently. I loved this. This was so good. The guy in this is actually god tier. The things he does for our main girl are actually crazy. But so I don't remember their names, but he was friends with our main girl's brother in the military, and his brother kind of asked him to take care of his sister, and so he did. He goes to their town and does help her. And there's a little bit of that trope where it's like the like anonymous messaging and you don't know who it is, but it's actually the guy right in front of you. There's some of that. Okay, fine, we have a god tier. Maybe I'll put this in stunning beautiful, but like it also could be god tier, but I feel like I don't think about it enough for it to be god tier. But I feel like once the movie comes out it will be, because then I can like picture the characters, because like for the Hunger Games I picture them as the movie people. But yeah, this book actually was so good. It hurt a lot though. It really hurt. I feel like too it's not in god tier because I should have reread the other books first, because there were some things that I like names and stuff and places I was like, this would hit harder if I actually knew and remembered what it fully was, because I really forgot a lot of information. So yeah, definitely would be god tier if I remembered more. But yeah, I haven't watched all of the movies in maybe like since they came out, really, because I feel like Mockingjay especially I don't remember anything of, so that's really where my lack of remembering certain information fell through. Okay, this was low-key a really good thriller. I'm gonna put this in good. Maybe I'll put it in decent. The ending got like really dark, and I feel like I didn't really like that. Like it wasn't necessary. Like I just like a twist, you know what I mean? Like I don't need the freaking psychotic stuff like that. I had no clue what was going on this entire time, and I really, okay, maybe it's going in good. I really like this book because the couch kind of shows it in the picture, but she was like a therapist, and so you got recordings because she recorded her sessions. So you got to hear those, and then you also got like her perspective, and then also these people who were like staying in this therapist's house who's like been missing. I just explained that terribly, but yeah, this was really interesting because I liked all of the perspectives in this one and how you were getting them throughout the story. Loved that. I'm gonna put this one in decent. Honestly, the Finlay Donovan series, it's got really kind of drug out. Like I feel like the first book was actually one of my favorite books ever. I loved it, and even like the second and third, but the fourth and fifth, they've just kind of been like, what can we add to make this series go on? And I'm just like, nothing, but we still did it. I don't even remember what this was about, honestly, but I do absolutely love these characters, so definitely deserves to be here. And these books are so fast-paced. Like, I binged this like I have all of the other ones in the series. Even Another Life. I'm also gonna put this in good because this book really made me think. Like, there was a lot of good themes and life lessons throughout this book where I was just like, oh, maybe I need to reconsider. This was a good time. It was such a powerful story, and what's interesting about it is, so basically our main girl, there's this decision she makes, and the setup of the book, you're getting if she went down one path, and then the storyline of if she went down the other path. So you're seeing the two stories of basically what her life could have been either way. And what I really thought was funny about this is people will say like the same exact lines in the different timelines. Like, I think it was one, like her dad said something, and then in the next timeline a couple chapters later he says the same thing. I'm just like, some stuff is just like so meant to be, like the way people act and stuff that happens like that. But yeah, this was, I feel like, a really good like kind of a lesson to, I don't know, like when you are making decisions, you're just like, what could happen, kind of like butterfly effect vibes. Yeah, I loved this. This was such a powerful story because hello, TGR literally is an amazing author. The Rose Garden. I'm also gonna put this in good. I thought this was gonna be like a 5-star. It had so much potential, but it just wasn't, and I haven't really thought about it since, which I don't know why. But yeah, this was such a good fantasy, and I cannot wait for the next one to come out. I don't even know if it's like announced yet, but so this follows our main girl and her sister, and when you get to like a certain age in this book, you have to go before the queen and kind of bargain for something. So it's like your ability to lie for your finger, like stuff like that. It's just like kind of random, but like it's not. Like, one girl's was, the one that really sticks out to me is like she couldn't turn left and they took her like tooth or something. I don't remember. Just random stuff like that. So that was interesting, but also it's kind of like Bachelor selection vibes because these girls are all competing to win the hand of this prince, but there's actually 2 brothers, so it's a little bit of like a, not necessarily a love triangle, but like the main girl's like, which brother do I like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I really like this one. I like the competition vibes, and it was just a really interesting kind of dark vibe. I really liked the world in this, and I feel like there was just a lot going on in the world. You got like the Bachelor vibes, you got these like trials, you got the family stuff, her sister's drama, all that, because her sister actually went missing for a while after she bargained, and then she's back now, and like no one knows what happened with her bargain, so you're trying to find that out as well. You actually can't put this on this list. You actually can't. Favorite book of the year right there, so you'll remember me. This book was a little way too relatable for me, and I love their romance. Everyone will say it's insta-lovey, but they don't understand that they were trapped in the escape room for like 8 hours together. Like, of course you're gonna feel something. I've said my piece. You guys know this is my book. Like, this is my book. Like, it's a personal attack when you say you don't like it. I'm just kidding, but like, this book was perfection to me. The long distance made the yearning there. Xavier is a VILF. All the pop culture references made me LOL. Maybe I'm just live under a rock. Maybe I just don't get out much, but I LOL'd. I did not find them cringy. This is just my book. It's perfection to me. I love these characters more than anything, and I've already started a reread and done almost the entire reread, and I've cried a lot over this book. It's my book. It's gonna go first because the other ones were rereads. The Paradise Problem. I'm gonna put this in decent. Like, it was fine. I feel like I was really in the mood for this type of book when I read it, but thinking back, I don't know. What I really liked about it was how there was like some plot, but also romance, and I liked how they were at this like private island for the wedding. It was really interesting setting. Yeah, I don't really remember much. I just thought it was fun. A little like more lusty than lovey, but I still liked it. I'm gonna put this one in good. This book, The Paris Notebook, it did take me a while to get into, but once I did, I was so hooked. Such an interesting story and such an important story, and it was just, I just love historical fiction, I think. So this is about our main girl, Katya. So she basically gets hired for this new job at this doctor's office, and he kind of assigns her this task to transcribe this notebook, and the notebook is the big bad guy of World War II's medical history, basically saying he is unfit to have that position of power. And so she is tasked to transcribe that so they can hopefully eventually like put it out there to help stop everything that's going on. And what I really liked about this is the whole entire thing was super high stakes because she's doing something so dangerous and there were so many people trying to get after them. And yeah, this story was a roller coaster and I loved it, and it was just so entertaining and so interesting. But I don't know why it just took me a while to get into, but I feel like once we got into the story and stuff started happening, I couldn't stop reading. This series honestly kind of pisses me off now. This book was so boring. Nothing happened. It was beyond repetitive, and why was it like 500 pages? I don't know what the point was. You know what I mean? And there were some things that I feel like were so built up, and then they just like took like 1 page to explain it and then it was done. I'm just like, whatever. Also, can we talk about that spin-off book that's coming out? Who the hell is it about? I looked, I'm like, who is she? I don't know about that, but I'm glad this series is done. I'm glad I finished it, but I'm not glad I read this book. This is going in Stunning Beautiful. Jessa just can write. She knows how to write characters and make them feel so real, and I really like this book because there's so much going on, but like it's basically set at their house. Like it's just such a simple setting. I don't know, and she just makes it so entertaining. Like it's basically them at the house arguing the whole time, and I'm just like eating it up. Yeah, there's just so much family stuff. There's so much that each of our characters has to figure out about themselves and go through. I love the romance, and I love how everything kind of ended, and there were some parts of this that had me gagged. I was shook, and then I'm like, we need Daisy Hates 3 immediately, because what the heck, Jessa? So basically our main girl lives in London because she essentially got kicked out of North Carolina, South Carolina with her family, and her dad passes away, so she has to travel back, and basically her family is terrible and they just beef. Like it is terrible. So she has a brother, 2 brothers and a sister, and they are all back home together, and there's just so much drama with that, like so much drama. And then also her youngest brother is in AA and he brings his sponsor back with him, and that is who the love interest is with. And yeah, Sam Penny, the man that you are. I'm gonna put this in decent, which crazy that an Emily Henry book is there, but like not, because also I put what's that vacation one? Oh my god, I'm blanking. You and Me on Vacation. That's the UK name. People with Me on Vacation. Jeez, I just feel like this story fell so flat for me. Like I had built this up in my head to be one of my favorite books ever, 10 out of 10 stars, but yeah, it just fell flat. I felt like the romance was so insta-lovey and so fast-paced, and I just didn't feel their connection at all. They're competing to tell this famous woman's story. They're both writers. Her story was kind of anticlimactic. Honestly, it was. So yeah, not my favorite Emily Henry book by any means, but it's still an Emily Henry book, so there's still amazing writing and all of that, and I like the setting. I just read this because my Libby hold finally came through, but yeah, it was fine. Nothing too crazy, and I feel like I would have been more invested if I read it during the winter time, which like makes sense. This follows our 2 main characters, and they both get invited to this rich author's house. They're like, why did we get invited here? And she ends up going missing, so they're trying to figure out what happened, where she is, if she's alive. It's kind of this whole mystery to other people in the house, but honestly that kind of confused me, like who was who in the house and whatever. But I did really enjoy like the setting and the mystery thing. I thought it was really fun. It's a fun time. I definitely recommend in the winter time, but like I read it in the spring, so Days We Leave Unfinished. I'm gonna put this also in decent, I think, but it also could be like good. So in this book, you're getting 2 perspectives. The past, which is more like a historical fiction book, a romance between a pilot in the war and also just a woman working in the war, and they are basically the family members of the people in the present time. So I think it's like great grandkid or grandkid or something, and in the present time they're trying to tell their grandma or great grandma's story, and because she was an author and she has like these letters and they're trying to put them together, whatever. And I just didn't really like the present timeline as much. I didn't really like the romance in it. Like it was okay, but I didn't really care. And then when we got to the present timeline, I was kind of like, oh, like give me back to the past. But the past was just incredible. I loved the main guy in the past timeline, Jameson. He was I love him. I love him. He was such a good guy and such a good person and just so sweet. So I love that. Like he really made the book for me. But yeah, like I said, the present timeline I just didn't really like. But I really liked the ending, how the story wrapped up, because it just felt not necessarily like crazy, but just like I just loved how it wrapped up. And if you've read it, you know. Wild Dark Shore. I'm gonna put this in Stunning Beautiful. Like I feel like it doesn't really fit like that title of category, you know, but it was like a 4.5 star read. So this follows our main family, and they are stuck on this island where they are kind of taking care of it, and they've been there for a couple years, and the island is kind of failing, we'll say. So they're working on getting evacuated to that, and while they're in the process of prepping for all that, this girl washes up on shore, and they're like, how the hell did you get here? Like this is not an easily accessible island. they're confused about that. You're like, who is she, why is she there, but also like, why are they on this island? Because it just like plops you in and they're on the island. You get no backstory, and I really liked that because this book was very like learn as you go. Like, you're not gonna find out much until you're like 50% of the book. It did take me a bit to get into like the first 70-ish pages, but once it picked up, I was so sad. This book gets absolutely crazy, my friends. I'm gonna put this in Stunning Beautiful. It was a 5-star, but it's not like a 6-star like these guys up here, you know. This was, again, I just love lit fic this year. This is my year of historical fiction and lit fic. Again, such a powerful story. It's about our main girl Louisa and this guy, and he is kind of telling her the story of his friend group from many years ago. And like, it sounds like whatever, boring, but it is not. It is so sweet and so wholesome, and just, I love their story so much, and their dynamic, Louisa and Ted. It is actually really funny at some points, but it's also just like, I relate to that. But yeah, I love them so much, and this book is just so character driven, and Frederick Bachman has the best writing ever. It's insane how he can put together a sentence. Like, all of his words are so purposeful and just impact the story so much. Rewind it back. I'm gonna put this in I might put this in Stunning Beautiful, but I'm borderline good. I don't know why. I don't really have a reason, but it's just like wasn't my favorite out of the series. I don't know how I feel about Second Chance. So this follows our main guy, Rio. His book has been really kind of built up this entire series. Like, he's been in all of the books, and he's a prevalent character in their friend group and everything. So his book was so anticipated, and it didn't necessarily fall flat, but it just like wasn't, I don't know, like it wasn't like a 5-star for me. I don't know why, because I loved their connection so much because it was so sweet, and they know each other on such a deep level, and just some of the things they did in this book was so adorable. The title name, like, if you know, you know, adorable. Yeah, I just loved seeing all the characters and how this story wrapped up, and I'm so glad we're getting a spin-off because I think I would lose my mind without seeing these characters again. This book was, it was so sweet, and I just love the type of guy Rio is. He is so like golden retriever, like so down bad, and like he falls hard. Listen for the line. I'm gonna put this in Stunning Beautiful. This book I completely listened to, which I would recommend because I really like the setup of this audiobook, because you get a podcast which feels like a podcast in your headphones, and also just like the regular book. Yeah, I love this one. It was such a good thriller, and it took me a while to read, like as in I've had it for like a year and I haven't picked it up, but I feel like I did at the perfect time. So our main girl in this, she was accused of murdering her best friend, to be specific. There's no like evidence, like she didn't get tried. 5 years later, this reporter is in town and he's trying to figure out who did it, and she doesn't remember anything from that night. So you're like, did she do it or did she not? And what I really liked about this book is I really had no clue. I had no clue what was going on, and I was so caught off guard with what happened, and how everything went down was actually so shocking. And this is set in like a small town, so you know all the characters so well, and just how the story was told was so interesting. This was such a good thriller, and it was definitely more like mystery, murder mystery, more than like scary thriller, which I really like, so I definitely recommend. And yeah, the audiobook was great because some of the chapters are from the reporter, and it's like a podcast episode, like it's literally like you're listening to the episode, and in the audiobook there's like sound effects and stuff, so I loved it. Atmosphere. I'm gonna put this in, I might put this in good, but it's like almost Stunning Beautiful. This book, I feel like it didn't necessarily fall flat, but I feel like at some points it did kind of drag a bit. Like there were points where I was just like, okay, like we've seen this before, let's talk more about like the plot, whatever. And the ending also, I really wanted to see an epilogue, because if you've read this book, you know how it ends, and you know that leading up to that ending there was still so much going on that needed to be fleshed out. But the romance in this book is one of my favorites of the year, honestly, because of how well these characters know each other, and just the quotes and the things that they do for each other, and the things they sacrifice and all of that. It was so wholesome, and I really liked the backdrop of being at NASA, and there was also some family stuff our main girl Joan was going through. But yeah, like I said, I really feel like the book could have been longer, or even like some stuff could have been shortened and then more at the end, because with how it ended, like I needed more. I really did, because there's just so many questions I have too about, honestly, like I could list probably like 5 characters. I'm like, but what happened, you know? Yep, this is the most wholesome book ever. This is just, I just love this book and I can't wait for the movie. I don't even know like what to say. Like, it's just an amazing book. This is such an incredible and powerful story because it just, I don't even want to tell you anything because I just want you to go in blind and like be so caught off guard like I was. The story follows our main girl Tova, and she's like an older woman and she has done her fair share of hard struggles, hard times, because she lost her husband and her son. And Tova works at this aquarium at night and she kind of befriends the octopus there, which sounds dumb, whatever. His name is Marcellus and he ends up really making this story, which you'll find out why. And you're also getting Cam's perspective, and he's like a 20 something year old guy, and you're like, how do these connect? Like, what is going on? But when they do connect, and like once you figure out why everything is there and what else is going on, it's the most beautiful story ever, and you guys have to read it. I'll make you, like, you have to, sorry. And it is definitely a god tier book and I sobbed my eyes out. Here we go again. Yep, another very, very, very powerful story, but for completely other reasons. This book was entertaining from page 1 to page 400 and whatever. I could not put it down. Every time I read it, I had to force myself to stop reading. There is just so much going on in this story, and I really liked how we got not necessarily different settings, but like different stages of our main girl's life, and we watched her go through everything that she went through and deal with it in ways that weren't always the best, but the ending, Kristen Hanna knows how to write an ending that will make you cry. Let's just say that. This is about our main girl Frances, and she enlists in the military during the Vietnam War to be a nurse. So she is a nurse in Vietnam, so you're following her there and all of the tragic, traumatic things she sees that are definitely very hard to read about. But she makes these two friends there. This book will just make you feel all of the emotions ever, and that is what I love in a book, and that's what makes a god tier book. Like, most of the time I cry. I've only read The Nightingale by her, and both of them have been absolutely god tier books, so I cannot wait to read more of her backlist because wow. I won't say too much more because I went into that book literally only knowing that she was a nurse in the Vietnam War, and that is how I like going into my god tier books, apparently. Blind as hell. I'm gonna put this in no, just no, because I did DNF it, but I don't think it's quite absolutely no, like don't put this book in my face. I DNF'd this because I just couldn't connect to the writing or the characters, and the romance just felt so insta-lovey and I just couldn't believe it, and the guy gave me the ick, and I don't know, the writing was just weird to me, especially in the first couple chapters. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, I definitely say though, like, it had potential, maybe like wrong time, whatever, but I couldn't do it, so I had to DNF it, and I was like 70% too. Just not for me, but it may be for you because I have heard incredible things, so maybe give it a chance. The Tenant. Wow, we are ending with some interesting books. The Tenant, this book, I was bored. I'm sorry. The first 60% I was so bored, and I was like, what is going on? Like, this is the same thing over and over again. And then we got to the twist and I'm like, okay, kind of saw that coming. And then we got a little bit of that and I'm like, okay, like, and then some unnecessary stuff just happened and I was like, what is going on? Like, this was so unnecessary, and like I feel so bad for these characters. And then the ending kind of did another twist and I was just like, that's not necessary. That was that. I was just waiting for it to be better because it was either boring and or kind of pointless, you know what I mean? It was a free book, so it was fast paced and it kept me entertained, and I read it super fast, so that's that, I guess. Here we have the final tier ranking so far. I'm really happy with this so far because we have a lot of books in the higher categories. I mean, these three are rereads, but that's fine. Yeah, I mean, especially this category, these books have all been amazing this year. Maybe I'll put the favorites up here low-key. Okay, one change. I feel like I've had a really great reading year so far, and I feel like I'm really kind of finding more of my taste with especially romance, because I haven't really read any like rom-com, like spicy whatever. I mean, I've read some, but like not a lot. I've also been reading more like fiction and loving them clearly, so I feel like I'm definitely finding my taste more this year. That is all we can ask for. If you want me to tier rank anything else, please let me know because I love doing it, and I'll see you guys next week.